Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to Indian Hills Community College for this special day here on campus as we introduce our next head coach of the Warrior softball program. One of the most historic junior college softball programs in the country with 21 World Series appearances and 22 region championships over the last 3 decades. Again, it's one of the most historic programs, and we're very excited to introduce our next head coach. I'd like to officially introduce her now, Tarah Rayos.
Right.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you. All right, I am Tarah Rayos. I am so excited to be here at Indian Hills. Like Ricky had mentioned, it is a winning culture here, especially within the softball program. Could not be more excited. Just getting to know the student athletes, building onto the culture, getting to know things a little bit further. Definitely coming from a little bit different background, but I am a JUCO kid. I love it. That's what I love about this whole process. So getting to know our student athletes more, building everything further, getting to know our athletic department and the community, I could not be more excited. And again, just being a part of the Indian Hills family is a one in a million type of feeling of everything, but very, very excited for what's next, what's to come, getting to know everybody a little bit more, and very excited.
Coach, you come from your last head coaching position was a program that, maybe it's cliche, something you had to turn around. I mean, losing season, you turned that around relatively quickly. You're walking into something that is coming off a trip to the JUCO World Series. What's kind of the differences there for you in walking into this job versus your last head coaching position?
That's a great question. Yes, very, very different. I walked into a different program with a coach that was there for about 30 years. They did find success a while back. Ironically, Blackhawk was the school that knocked my JUCO out to go to the national tournament when I played. But it took a little bit of just the relationship building, just very different process. But it was still the family feel of things, but it really took time, building relationships, breaking things down a little bit further. It was a challenge, but I do feel like it does prepare me for this next step because it is a brand new challenge. It's success right there, right off the bat. So there's more I have to go into it. How do we get better? And again, that's continuing to build relationships even more. And that's even now as I've been communicating with our student athletes, but it takes time. At the end of the day, they're here for a reason. They want to be at Indian Hills. They know that they want success. So again, building that relationship with them, figuring out how our culture is going to blend a little bit more, still setting the example on campus. It's just going to be a feel for them trusting me and building that relationship. But yeah, winning culture, it's really going to keep things going, and I like the challenge. That's why I'm here. I want that even more and to continue progressing this program in the right direction because success doesn't just come easily, so I know it's going to have to be some fine-tuned details. I always say I'm a little bit gritty, definitely blue-collar type person. It's going to take breaking things down. I always say have a little bit of chip on your shoulder, really just kind of figuring those things out day by day. But again, couldn't be more excited for this opportunity and this next challenge.
As far as the base of girls that would be coming back, what do you know about, are most of them committed to coming back, and when will you get a chance to meet with them if you haven't already?
Yeah, great question. So I had the chance to talk via Zoom with the majority of the team yesterday. I've also been able to meet a couple of them in person, one of them this morning, and I will be coordinating phone calls. Anyone as they start moving back, I would like to get on campus as soon as possible consistently, but I want to meet with them in person, even if it's a phone call, FaceTime, Zoom call, just talking through whatever their questions are and building those relationships. But there's a lot of great talent coming back. A lot of those student athletes were starters as freshmen, and that's just a huge perk of all of it is they have that experience, just knowing that they like the forward mentality, getting things done. Yeah, is it going to be an adjustment? But I've done this before. I've had sophomores that were used to a different way, but as long as we get that feel for everything, it's going to be a great adjustment. But yeah, it's going to be that trust feel of everything. But at the end of the day, they want to get back to the World Series, and they want to do better than they did last year. So I know if we can fine tune those little things, we're going to get where we need to be.
Are there some of the things, Coach, that you take away from your experiences in building up a program like that at Blackhawk that will be helpful in taking over this program that's had success and is obviously at a very high level, trying to get back to that high level again?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the success at Blackhawk happened in a different manner. But all I had to do was really kind of go back to basics. I initially wanted to go in and I thought I had to change a bunch of things, but it actually just came back to simplicity of things, having those conversations, feeling the kids out, but going at it, I guess hard is the same way, like you're still pushing them in a direction, but it's understanding them. I have talk with, Coach Dial, just a little bit further, getting a better feel, because I want to understand them and I want to help build them. But yeah, what I've gained is the fact of the little bit of just small details of stuff. I'm definitely a person that's just very forward on things, so I like communication. And I've realized that you have to, especially with 18, 19, 20-year-olds, you have to go back to the communication, them developing, realizing what they want, to transition in the right direction. And success just doesn't, like I said, doesn't get handed to you. So I know it's just a process that's going to have to continue going. But yeah, with success, I know they want to do better than they did last year. And that's that challenge. So it's really understanding, what are their expectations, and to explain what my expectations are as we move forward as well.
So you're a pitcher.
Yes.
Softball over the last, maybe decade or better is well, still a big pitcher's game. There's a little more offense than there used to be. Mm-hmm. What balance for you? Where's your philosophy? Are you more about winning games 2-1, 3-0, or are you more offensive side? So where do you see that balance on your philosophy? And obviously you'd love to score 100 runs a game, but talk to me a little bit about kind of where your emphasis is.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Actually, the last 2 years, I've had great pitchers coming in. We've been able to develop them a little bit further. I do feel like we've still missing that little bit of the player with more of a chip gamer that was going to be a true number one for us. We had more of a staff situation. But we've been heavily strong on the offensive side. Hitting's been our forte. But I know after just hearing about our pitchers returning, that they have been grinding all summer. So I know this might be a little bit different philosophy, but I want to see what we have and how we can kind of work on both sides of things to see how we're going to develop. And I know last year offensively, this program did very well, but at the same time, pitching was a nice balance, but they had a little bit of a staff. And that's going to be fine tuning and see where that's at. But I was a pitcher, yes, but I also was a middle infielder. I hit for myself. I was able to understand both sides of the game, so it's something I want to learn and kind of better gauge out of our student athletes as well.
Obviously, there's been a lot of great talent that's come through, especially from right here in the state of Iowa. Being from Illinois, you kind of, is it kind of, do you see some of the similar recruiting circles, some of the same pipelines that you've established with Blackhawk kind of paying off here at Indian Hills, you think, as far as the kids you'll bring in? Yeah,
absolutely. Being from Illinois is a little bit different, especially the Chicagoland area. But Chicagoland softball is huge, but it's growing obviously in the state of Iowa. I was just joking with a returning sophomore about the fact that Iowa plays in the summer. That was always a little bit different to me, but I did play at St. Ambrose, which is in Iowa. I was used to that. I coached there. I understand the process of it. But yeah, the travel programs and organizations, high schools you're looking at is a lot of the same. It's now coming down to, okay, are they going to choose one or the other? But you're choosing Indian Hills. Indian Hills is a better program. There's a lot going in the right direction, but I do want to venture out a little bit more, and I think there's still just a couple missing pieces that will steer us, further into the World Series and get where we want to be as well.
I was just going to ask, you mentioned you talked to Coach Dial. Any good advice that she has given you at all, or anything that...
She says I'm going to enjoy it here and just to ask the questions that I need to. She's given just good feedback about returning players, incoming freshmen. She wants the program to be successful. I look forward to continuing to talk with her more, just learning a little bit more about her. Because it's been, fairly brief conversations, but I'm excited for it because she's obviously found success and continue to build this program. So if anything, I look forward to seeing how she's gotten there and, what other things I can factor in as well.
Coach, you're right across the state line at Illinois. Talk a little bit about what you know about Region 11 here in Iowa, the ICCAC, the competitiveness of it.
It's competitive across the board. Granted, Blackhawk was a D2 JUCO, so we had played, Kirkwood, DMAC across that board, but there's a lot of good competition, and you know it. Recruits that I brought in, at my former college, a lot of them are going towards the ICCAC and the region. There's a reason for it because there's good softball in this area, and that means our entire schedule is not going to be easy. And I'm okay with that. I want the challenge because if we're going to win, we're going to have to beat the best. So it's never going to be easy, but there's a way I go about it, and I love what's different. I feel like is I just love building the relationships. Obviously, the culture in the school at Indian Hills is awesome. And that's the thing, is just kind of continuing to build that. And then, it's not a comparison game on the conference or the region. It's more, how do we get better? What do we have to do? Dissecting little things that we need to take care of. But it's never going to be an easy schedule, but I want to be on top of it all the time. There's no doubt about that.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right.